Keep Love Lovely, the relationship show. Your hosts, LA and Terry Walker.
Hi, I'm LA.
And I'm Terry.
And we welcome you to Keep Love Lovely, the relationship show.
Where we talk about everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Everything.
Thanks for joining us for part 2 of our 3-part celebrity interview with Alfonzo Hestle and Martin Cooper, known as CoCo Montrese. We had the pleasure of interviewing them from their home. And a beautiful home it
Thank
is.
you.
Indeed.
Decorator. This is decorator. Not me.
Lots
I'm
of
not.
color and love and excellent place.
Tell about the house that you met me in.
Okay, so we walked into his house and he said, "You like one of his houses at that time because he had several. Oh, you like my house?" I said, "It's brown." Everything was brown. It was a bachelor pad, so everything was brown. The cabinets were brown. The furniture was brown. The couch was brown. The floor was brown.
The wall
and everything. And I was just like, God.
You like brown, huh?
I'm like, you definitely.
You know, I went to the furniture store and looked at the girl and I said, "Look, I'm moving into place. Just send some stuff over." And then I told her the date. I gave her money and it showed up. Okay,
Wow.
And it was brown.
It was all,
It was
I liked
brown.
it. I didn't have to deal with it.
I mean,
all
it was
got-
beautiful.
It was beautiful furniture.
But it was
myself,
brown.
yeah.
It was just all brown. So I think we decided in our life we were at that point. You know, when we were
going to be the designer.
right.
No one decided. No one decided.
You've done your part with that.
On our first interview, we asked Martin Cooper, what's the glue that holds your relationship together? This time we asked his husband, Alfonzo, what's the glue that holds your relationship together? And this is what he had to say.
That's sex.
I'm sorry, making love.
No, that's good.
Come on. You call it what it is.
This is a grown folks show.
This is a grown folks show. This is call it. If you're not really physically attracted to each other, and make that person, because I remember first things you said when we first did it, and I'm not going to share that with people, but I could definitely tell you this. He said,
I was a very happy camper.
So he's, "Oh my God, I never felt that way." But but you have to have that also mental and physical bond.
Oh, for sure.
You know, because we would go through these philosophical explanations of all this, but if you're not able to turn over and look that person and just want to just grab them and just do dirty things to them all the time, dirty things to them all the time. You know, it's something missing.
No, that's absolutely.
It's something missing, and no matter what we've gone through, what mental or physical or emotional stresses that we've gone through, I think the thing that I look forward to is that end of the conversation where we can actually have that
moment.
That moment.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because he'll say, "Okay, we talked through it," and I'm thinking, "Okay, let's get through this." Because
I'm ready now.
Because I think when someone really acknowledges your feelings, acknowledges your emotions, that stirs up things in you.
Oh, you're vulnerable.
You're very just like, "Oh my
me."
God, he really understands me," and your heart start beating fast, and you start getting teary eyed. Next thing you know, there's that spiritual bond that comes with that. So when that spiritual bond comes with that, you can't deny it.
No,
you cannot deny it. So there's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of conversation, but when you get to the answers of it, and you understand each other, there's that great euphoria. Am I pronouncing
Euphoria?
that? Euphoria.
Sure.
Euphoria. When you're finished and you're just like, okay, we're really understanding each other. We're really spiritual. We're really connecting. And then that's when that part comes in, the sex part comes in.
That's great.
And the sex becomes very good. I don't think we had a bad sexual.
No.
Speaking of spiritual bonds, all of us are church people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, being a gay person, and then of course being a gay person and doing drag, creates a lot of conversation.
A lot of controversy too.
A lot of controversy
within the church.
Within the church.
A lot.
How does one handle that? Because I know a lot of young people are really struggling.
Okay, well, honestly, for me, it was a struggle. When my parents were alive, which God, I miss them dearly. My father he was under a lot of scrutiny with the church because he was a pastor.
Okay.
But my father was my father first. And here's the thing people don't understand with religion. You can't preach all day long love and compassion and then not have it
Yeah, right.
when it hits home.
Exactly.
And I watched, as a young adult, growing up, I watched my friends in the church. I watched other pastors' kids that I was friends with that came out, and then they ended up getting kicked out of the house, and it was just, and there was always this big, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand, well, how can you preach love and compassion and you want to bring people into a fold, but yet and still you're trying to say this save face, so you feel like you need to condemn, and you'd rather ostracize someone or put them away, put them out of your life because you don't want a embarrassment of the family.
What a terrible scar.
It is. It's a terrible scar. It's a terrible thing for people to go through. And luckily for me, I mean, with my family, and even in college, because in college, when I was in college, I'll be honest with you, I was I was in theater arts.
Okay.
So I was a very artsy kid through high school, going into college, and I was always trying to find myself. Nails on my hand, I'm much more modest now. These nails on my hand are much more modest than they were when I was a younger adult, trying to I wanted people to know try to express who I was, but at the same time I was trying to find myself. So my hair would be braided down my back and everything, and I would come home from college. And the biggest thing that stuck with me, and my parents have been gone for probably, since 98, 97, 98. The biggest thing that stuck with me about my father and my mother was that my dad, being the biggest figure in that church, would stand up in that church on a Sunday, and I would walk through that door with nails on my hands and braids down my back, and he would say, I am very, very proud and happy that my son is here today, and would ask me to stand up. And that, to me, made me go, God, that's unconditional love.
That's when you realize
because
what
I
you
didn't
had.
even know. Right.
Right.
I didn't even know who I was
Sure.
at that time. So for him to be able to do that and stand against, and he was Pentecostal.
Oh, God.
You know,
I just fainted.
that's not something that's accepted. That's not something that
not
needs
at
to
all.
be brought out. And he would ask me to stand and say, listen, that's my son. God gave him to me, and I love him.
That's so beautiful.
And if any of you have a problem with it, then you have to take that up with me. But that's my son. God gave him to me, and I love him. That stuck with me more than anything
No, that's love.
in the world. That's unconditional love.
Unconditional.
And so you grow up as an adult, learning that. So that's what you want to give to everyone, because that's how I was treated. When these parents don't realize that they are ostracized kids and put them out. When they ostracize kids and put them out, they put them in situations
They do.
where mentally they're not
I don't
stable.
believe in the organized religion.
No, I don't. And I come from a background of my brother's a pastor. My brother has a church. My father was a pastor. He has a church. So for someone to hear me say I don't believe in organized religion, a lot of times the first thing people hear is that you're not religious or you're not spiritual. That's what they hear when you say you don't believe in organized religion, which is definitely not so. I credit, God, because I believe in God. I credit God for everything that I've accomplished in my life. Everything that I've ever set my mind to and accomplished is because of Him. Make no mistake, that's not the case here. I would never denounce that part of my life. When I say I don't believe in organized religion, I just don't believe that. I believe that my walk is personal, and it's on a personal level that I have that conversation with Him. He knows who I am. He always knew who I was. This, when they say being gay is a choice and this, that, and the other, they have no idea.
They have no idea.
They have no idea. You know, why would someone choose to go against society or be ostracized or choose to be different than what people call the norm?
The norm.
You know,
Right.
why would someone choose that? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, I tell them, I said, God knows me, and for me to fake it and try to be something that I'm not, then I think that would leave more of a distaste in his mouth than me saying, you know, being loving, being caring,
Right.
being who I am. That's more important to me. He's always been real with me, so I need to be real with him.
Absolutely.
I need to lay it out on the line
Right.
and be real with him.
And not liquidate yourself.
Right.
And also, when you have those stressful points in your life, you know who to go to. You
Absolutely.
know where your strength is coming from. You know who to call on. And we know who we could call on. And that's the joy of having a relationship with God, a relationship with Christ, is that no matter what we go through or what we hear or what is going on around us, we could always just call on his name and we understand our blessings. And we have these talks sometimes at night when we're laying on the couch or in the bed, and there's some times when he's tired and he's worn out, and sometimes he just don't want to go on and just I'm done with it. I'm ready to stop this. And there was incident, the European tour.
Oh God.
He after the terrorist attack in Europe and after the bombings and stuff, he was really afraid.
I was on the edge. I was leaving to go the next day. I think the next 2 days later to go.
And he was like, I'm just afraid. And we prayed about it. We talked about it. We went to each other's spiritual place and said, look, we know what's going on in this world, but we're not going to walk in fear because we have the biggest protector on our side. And when he got there and he felt the love of the crowd and the kids, and he met, and he was able to witness his love to other other kids that was waiting for him to come. He got rejuvenized. The love just filled all the little pockets of
Replace the fear.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because you hear about, in different countries, everyone says, they have these different perceptions of what, this country's bad and those people are this and these people are that. And it's all propaganda. Until you actually get to experience those people and know what they're about and know that they're no different than you, and they're love and compassionate just like you. You can't treat everyone by what you hear. You need to go out there and experience it. Once I got to Europe and got to see I had my flight. One of my flights had to be rerouted because it was through Brussels, and everything had happened in Brussels, and I was on edge and I was nervous.
Sure.
Being, this
It's normal.
African American stepping into this situation alone. You go, God, cover me. Cover me, give me the strength to actually go in here, and give these people some great entertainment, and not only that, be able to be compassionate with them and show them, that we are a lot of us are great people, and we're here to give you that love and support too. And it meant a lot for me to go over there and do that, and it was an amazing experience.
It filled him up.
It was an amazing experience.
It filled him up because he was scared.
I was terrified.
But when he came back, he was full. He was full of love, and he was just like, okay, I know.
This is why I do this.
This is why I do this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't understand why you do it. And when kids come up to you and they can't go in the club, they wait in line to see you because
they're not of age, and their parents bring them, and they're waiting outside the club to see you, and I get overwhelmed with so much humility and just like, wow.
Because they need to identify.
Yeah.
Right.
And to see someone like them, how the way they feel on the inside.
They need
wonderful.
that, and that's
Sure.
and I think that's what a lot of entertainers forget really what's your purpose, what's your talent, why did God give you this platform?
Your platform is not to be the best. Your platform is not to outdo someone else. Your platform should be to give back and just literally be able to make people feel good.
And you do that. And I have a funny story. Because I only had been in your presence as Marty.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went to sing your frogs,
and
I saw you perform, I had my phone. I was so nervous. I became a fan instantly. And I dropped my phone. And it went into several pieces across the floor.
Oh my God.
I was so excited. But you have that persona. And that's a gift. Everyone does not have that. And for you to perceive it as a gift and not just a tool to make an income, but to understand, what you really have an opportunity to do and to give, I think that's wonderful.
And I don't sacrifice. And it's so funny because I always get messages from many publicists and many people saying, hey, you'd have a bigger fan base if you did this. Hey, don't really speak too much on political issues because what they pay you to do is entertain. And I say to people, all the time, it's not about how many fans I have across the world. It's about how many lives I touch.
Join us next Thursday as our celebrity couple pauses to remember their friends who lost their lives in Orlando's Pulse nightclub. Right here on Keep Love Lovely, the relationship show, where we talk about everything.